Welcome back to Into the Veil. We're approaching part 3, and we are going to pick up where we left off on part 2, because I feel like it's that important, not just to us as people, but to the powers that be, to include spirit, to let you understand why these things are so important right now. Raising vibration, we're talking about raising vibration. I suppose I should stop for a moment in case you're new. I apologize. This is Into the Veil, and I'm Rachel. And we have a series going on about Ascension, about the Photon belt, about the steps that are necessary in order for man to raise their vibration naturally and in a way that's easy. Okay. Anku, for those of you that are new, is the patriarch to the Sasquatch that we work with, but he has brought with him other light beings energetically to help channel information and channel the things that are important for us in order to continue to evolve. Anku is a master of energy. He understands the human heart, the human condition, and he kind of works as a liaison. Much of the information that he brings is information that he has to, I guess I could say, get permission to reveal. And it feels very timely. It's very much in line with divine timing and what man is ready or not ready to hear. So perhaps you're listening to this today, and a year or two down the road somebody else is hearing it, which will be the perfect timing for them. So, for the collective, we've been talking about the Photon belt, our re-entry into the Photon belt, the Pleiades, and how they are affecting us by way of light transmission, if you will, downloads, inference of light. The people have been working with us in understanding how light works and the different qualities to light from one end of the spectrum to the other, whether that's in infrared or ultraviolet, and the variety of things that are in between. We've talked about how it's important to raise our vibration in order that we can handle the excess light, to include various levels of radiation that we aren't normally exposed to as we continue to progress. And on the last section of this, part 2, there was mention of us meeting certain levels of completion within ourselves in order that we could ascend and continue to grow, and that it's important that we continue opening the heart space little by little. He brings to me the visual of a drum and understanding rhythm. Understanding not just the frequency of light, but the frequency of sound. He's mentioned that it's important that we open up our 5 senses, that we make many things too difficult, but that our 5 senses are very effectual in not only collecting data from our outside world, if you will. It sets the tone of your own vibration, and it enables the universe and source to see on a level of frequency what you're drawing to you and what you're ready for. And so as you evolve and as your frequency changes, your environment changes, your senses are drawing in this information in such a way that enables your guides, angels, spirit, and all things that exist to draw similar experience to you. He said, for those of you that are subject to, call it bad patterning, he doesn't call it bad, but certain patterns that don't serve you anymore. He said the quickest way to effectually change your reality and to change how you perceive your experience is to invite higher vibration to your ears. Maybe higher frequency, 432 and up. Resonance, even as you sleep if you don't have time to listen to it in the day. To help repattern. It's been proven that it repatterns, and this is me saying it's been proven that it will repattern, so I know he's correct. Bring in higher frequency to listen to. Bring in higher smells, certain flowers, certain scents. It can be essential oils, a variety of things. He's saying become aware of what you are feeding your senses. Become aware of the vibration of what you're feeding your senses. Of course, when you smell it, you can taste it. So that doubles. Like, smell is very important because that doubles the experience. But even certain foods, if they bring you joy, true joy, he said there's a difference, and you want to pay attention to the vibration of what you're consuming because it's going in and it's becoming a part of you. So just be sure that you feel good about what you're eating. And if your gut, your instincts, that was not meant to be a pun about the gut, but if your instincts are telling you that it's probably not good for you, start paying attention to that. Start treating your body as that temple. Start treating your experience as that temple. What you see, fill your eyes with beauty. You know, if you have a choice, if you like art, if there's certain, things in nature, maybe animals, whatever it is that brings you perceptual joy, fill your world with it. It can be something simple like a photograph of a grandchild or your own child. It can be things that resonate good memory. Things that you touch. Our sense of touch is essential. Certain fabrics, textures. Make those things that you love. He said oftentimes we kind of sabotage ourselves because we are just filling our space with just things that don't have value or anything that resonates that sense of beauty or love. And when we fill our space with those things, it can very much inhibit us. So he's saying don't take for granted your natural five senses that are a God-given gift on this earth. Simultaneously, in the conversation of gratitude, he's confirming that the more we find gratitude for even the little things, that simple flower, that simple animal, that smell that you've are smelling, the sound that you are hearing. When you can find gratitude for those things, it invites more of those things, because that gratitude becomes your focus. He said your greatest gift is when you can find gratitude for your divine spark. When you can begin to assimilate that you are intentional, that you have a purpose, that you have reason, that your soul has been in existence since the beginning of the earth. So for billions of years, you have been in some form or another. And even if not on the earth plane, you have been. And you have been loved, and you have been taken care of, and you are on purpose. And that your purpose is very connected from the beginning to the end, and there is no end. That regardless as to what form you're in, you have purpose. And when you begin to feel that, and you begin to include source and layers outside of what you perceive as reality, when you begin to include those things in your experience, not only do you begin to experience more of them, but you begin to truly feel grateful. And he said, he's not trying to be funny, but he said, ironically, you feel great and full. You feel full of life. You begin to fall in love with life again. You begin to fall in love with yourself again, and certainly your maker again. And you begin to just be who you are effortlessly. You begin to look forward to each day instead of feeling some kind of resistance to it. And it's the resistance that's creating certain experiences that are resisting. He says, energy's easy. Many of you, he said, are beginning to see, as you're getting this, as you're experiencing this, many of you are starting to see that your greatest wishes are coming true, because you are in harmony, you are in resonance with divinity, the cosmos, the earth, yourselves. And you begin to realize there is no difference. And as you feel the rhythms, you feel the cycles, and you begin to pick up on the sublime, he calls them sublime energies that are speaking to you. And again, you might not be able to explain it, but he said you don't have to. You don't have to. If you can simply know that it exists, that's it. That's what you're after. But as you go along and you start to feel these rhythms, and you start to feel the cycles, and you start to understand the patterns in your own life, and how it's all in line with the natural patterns of the universe and the world around you, that everything cycles, everything has a live state and has a rest state, you know, things live, things die, it's just the natural order. But in that, you start to lose your fear of being, he says, unworthy. One of the biggest things that holds man back from their peace is a sense of unworthiness. where we have judged ourselves more harshly than anybody or anything else. And when you begin to find those places within yourself, and you begin to accept that there was a need for them, that there was a gift to it, and you can find the good that's in the bad, so to speak, then that too becomes another thing of beauty and something else to be grateful for, and allows that energy to dissipate because you're shining light on it and you're finding acceptance for it and bringing it back into your heart space where it belongs, instead of crammed back in the corner like a bad child. A lot of you are really coming out and learning how to be who you are naturally. There are some questions, he says, about security, stability, the things that you've always known to be the way. He said, but trust, have faith that the proper energies are in place. And he shows me cosmic energy. The proper energies are in place to support you in your growth. But you have to have that lion's heart. You have to be brave. And you have to be willing to try. He said, what's the worst that happens? You find out you're right? You find out that you are loved. You find out that you are great and full. He says, sounds like a win to me. Okay, we're going to do one more part, and then we'll conclude. Thank you again for being here, and I'll see you in a bit.